choose to go to the moon in this decade and do the other thing.
Not just our pride, but our security is at stake.
The country is in dire trouble.
Ja sam postao dio inženjerske ekipe u jugoslovenskom svemirskom programu.
Obviously, this had to be done in secret. They had to figure out a way to do this without anyone finding out.
A šta ta kamera?
To da, skoro gotovo je da bi Jugoslaviji grozio bankrot.
Falsificirao sam skice, uljepšavao sam rezultate testnih lansiranja.
Mr. President, this is a difficult and dangerous world in which we live.
Problems started almost immediately.
Amerikanci su pobjesnili na to.
Za glavno ameriško obvešćevalno agenciju CIA sodelovanje ni potekalo po naših željah.
Now, there was an assassination attempt on Tito's life while he was staying in New York.
Jer nije predsjednik sve mogući. Tako da nije tako lako.
Mom, those Yugoslav bastards right out of the off there. I really mean it.
Okay, we've had a problem here.
What does it feel like to be in space?
To be weightless, it's amazing. And so when you see television shows or movies where astronauts are floating, it's an incredible thing. It's hard to describe. You're hanging there in the middle of the module, and it's not something that you've ever really had the opportunity to experience before. But that is what it's like for the entire time that you're up there. So it takes a little bit of time to get used to, but it's lots of fun to be able to float around, to get from one place to another, to pretend like you're Superman.
As the next crew will arrive at the end of March, do you feel a bit lonely up there in space?
You know, it was sad.
And what comes after the International Space Station once its mission is over? How do we ensure the presence of humans in space?
Well, that's a great question. The plan that NASA has is to build a rocket called SLS, which is a heavy lift rocket. It's something that is much bigger than what we have today, and it will be able to launch the Orion capsule with humans on board, as well as landers or other components to destinations beyond Earth orbit. Right now, we only can fly in Earth orbit. We only can fly in Earth orbit. That's the farthest that we can go. We only can fly in Earth orbit. That's the farthest that we can go. We only can fly in Earth orbit. That's the farthest that we can go. And this new system that we're building is going to allow us to go beyond and hopefully take humans into the solar system to explore. So the moon, Mars, asteroids, there's a lot of destinations that we could go to, and we're building these building block components in order to allow us to do that eventually.
My name is Kelly Smith, and I work on navigation and guidance for Orion. Orion is NASA's next-generation spacecraft. Built with versatility in mind, it can take astronauts deeper into space than we've ever gone before, to an asteroid or even onto Mars. For these missions, Orion has to be one tough spacecraft, withstanding high speeds, searing temperatures, and extreme radiation. Before we can send astronauts into space on Orion, through the Van Allen belts, an area of dangerous radiation. Naturally, we have to pass through this danger zone twice, once up and Orion wants back. But Orion has protection. Shielding will be put to the test as the vehicle cuts through the waves of radiation. Sensors aboard will record radiation levels for scientists to study. We must solve these challenges before we send people through this region of space. We must solve these challenges before we send people through this region of space. We must solve these challenges before we send people through this region of space. We must solve these challenges before we send people through this region of space.
It was all recorded on these telemetry tapes. So where is this hard evidence?
I haven't seen anything that indicates the telemetry data is even in existence, and as I said, even if we had it, we don't have the machines to play it back.
But your own research has shown the telemetry data is missing.
That's right.
Could this be true, mankind's first interplanetary exploration, and the original science data is missing?
11, this is Houston, radio check, over.
If it's anywhere, it should be here at NASA's Goddard Space Center in Maryland, home to the National Space Science Data Archives.
This film you're making now, what is it?
This is a film trying to prove that Apollo 11 happened.
Does it have a name? I mean, do you have a name for it yet, or
I'm calling it "Did We Go?"
Did we go? Okay.
Doesn't have it either. The Smithsonian doesn't have it. Johnson doesn't have it.
Right. We've been unable to track it down. I mean, we don't know where this telemetry data ended up, and we don't know what path it may have taken. So, unfortunately, I'm afraid I can't really give you much of a clue as to where this data ended up and whether it still exists or not.
This morning, 2 Russian cosmonauts are preparing to venture outside the International Space Station. They're hoping to finish the work that began last year. Elaine Kahano shows us how they plan to give the world a new look. Elaine, good morning.
Good morning to you, Nora. 1 month ago, a mission to set up these high-definition cameras was halted due to a technical malfunction. If today's spacewalk is successful, the company behind the venture plans to stream high-definition video of the Earth for everyone to see.
Are you getting the picture, Sergey?
On December 27th, 2 Russian cosmonauts spent over 8 hours in outer space.
Okay, I put the cover on.
Their mission was to attach 2 high-definition cameras to the Russian module of the International Space Station. But after bolting the cameras in place, ground crews failed to receive a signal, bringing the mission to a disappointing end.
Oh, you should be probably the first one to go back.
A month later, the Canadian company behind the venture says it's confident their cameras are ready.
It'll be a 6 or 7 hour spacewalk.
They'll hook the cameras in, they'll plug in data, plug in power.
Scott Larson is the CEO of EarthCast. Larson spent over 2 years developing the technology in partnership with the Russian Space Agency.
We give the Russians
the cameras. They provide the launch, the installation, the downlink. We split the data. They take the data of Russia. We take the data of the rest of the world.
Once installed, the cameras are expected to stream high-definition images of the Earth from 250 miles above the ground.
The station is moving in this direction here. So.
The space station orbits the Earth every 90 minutes, and these cameras could offer a new vantage point, capturing everything from natural disasters to social upheaval.
It could be people are organizing, or there's a demonstration going on, and you'll be able to fly over and take those videos.
The company plans to stream the images online 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
We'll be putting pictures out online that frankly no one's ever seen before. And then the goal is to build that into a community, get people involved, overlay content on there that is useful so that people come back all the time.
The company says it has more than $20 million in contracts to distribute the footage it captures from outer space. If today's spacewalk is successful, the cameras could be online in a matter of weeks. Nora, Charlie?
That's a great story.
Really? I think it's, just kind of a fact. Touche. It is a great story. Elaine.
Nora, Charlie?
That's a great story.
Really? I think it's, just kind of a fact. Touche. It is a great story. Elaine.
Nora, Charlie?
That's a great story.
Really? I think it's, just kind of a fact. Touche. It is a great story. Elaine.